Then, before we could even get in line for a haunted house, some psycho with a chainsaw ran up on us. We all screamed, but everyone else was quickly laughing it off while I was still fighting off a panic attack. Unfortunately, things didn't get better in the relative safety of the line into the first haunted house. I started catching glimpses of someone, like I was being haunted. I kept seeing my ex-boyfriend in the park, peeking around corners and standing among moving crowds of people. Whenever I went to look at him, he disappeared. One of my friends noticed that I was still freaking, so when they said something, I asked them if they had seen my ex around. They just laughed and said that was ridiculous. Something about the way she said it didn't sit right with me, but I couldn't be sure of anything. We were approaching the front of the line rapidly, and before I knew it, the five of us were plunged into the horrors of the haunted house. Freaks were jumping out at us left and right, screaming about killing us and ripping us apart. I stayed in the middle of the group and looked down at the ground the entire time. Eventually, we entered a small metal room. There was blood everywhere and a torture chair in the middle, guarded by a masked man holding a circular bone saw. Instead of chasing after us, he started talking, only to ask which one of us we would like to see cut open. I could barely comprehend what was happening before I heard giggling. Then the girls behind me pushed me to the front. I stumbled straight into the masked freak as he revved the saw in my face. I screamed and ran away, but I was trapped in the room with them. I backed myself into a corner, begging for them to stop, but then I felt something familiar. A hand laid across my shoulder and squeezed. I looked back to see my ex-boyfriend standing behind me. He was smiling as he reached to put his arms around me. I fell to the ground instantly, scrambling back toward the group as I screamed at the top of my lungs and pointed to the corner. Everyone just looked at me like I was insane and said nobody was there. I thought they were screwing with me, but when I looked again, he was gone. I heard everyone start to laugh, but I noticed an emergency exit and ran away. I got let out into some random part of the park where I found a small alley to hide in.